Technology real quick. Just checking technology, everybody. Good evening to everybody that's on already. Just I'm a techie, so I gotta play with the equipment one last time before we do our thing. So we're gonna just start with some music while I'm just fine tuning this real quick. Excited tonight. I am extremely excited. Hey fam, how y'all doing? What's going on, peeps? Listen, I just had to take out a moment because I was doing some reflecting and I was doing some remembering and I was doing some uh, refreshing, I guess is the best way to put it. But I'm grateful because it's June now, so we're pretty much halfway through the year. Good evening to everybody. Thank you all so much for connecting on the live on tonight. This is going to be a little different. This is going to be a little different. I just wanted to get in and get out, share some things with you that I believe will be wonderful to hear. So May is a special month. This is really when it was going on. May was the month that it was all going down. But I just wanted to say, so May will always, if you know me, anybody that knows me, know how much I love the month of May. So here's where we at tonight. I don't know if anybody really paid attention to the title of the live, but it says tea time. No, we're not playing golf tonight. We I don't even know how to play golf, but T actually stands for two different things for me. Number one, it stands for testimony, which is something we're going to deal with tonight, talk about testimonies. And then second of all, stands for the word transformation. So tea time tonight is for testimony time and transformation time. So in reflecting the other day, and shout out to Evangelist Britt. Uh, um, I got to give you your props for doing your thing. So I appreciate you. But I was just reflecting on the month of May because May is very special for me. Number one, it's the month of my birthday. And I tell everybody it's an international holiday. If you still want to bless me with gifts and money and taking me out to eat, which everybody knows is my favorite pastime, I definitely receive that. I'm grateful for that. But it's my birthday month. And second of all, it's become over the last few months, I found out that the last few years, excuse me, Mental Health Awareness Month. And so I need everybody to do your absolute best to take care of your mental health. It is so vital, so very important to take care of your mental health. Then also, it's a remembrance for me because I was reflecting and realized that it's been 22 years. I'm in the midst of celebrating 22 years of being cancer free. Um, and we'll get into that. That's part of the testimony that I want to tell that story tonight. But I realized in my time of reflection, 5 stages that I wanted to talk about regarding transformation, 5 stages regarding transformation that I just wanted to highlight tonight. Um, 22 years ago, I experienced the beginning of a transformation, or the process started, I should say. And I did not realize until recently how the transformation or the transforming was ongoing. So picture it 22 years ago. I wake up and I feel a knot on my head. And I'm not really sure what's happening, but you know, uh, Well, I didn't get into a fight. I didn't fall. Where did this knot come from? Hmm. Well, I did have a wooden headboard. So I was like, well, maybe I got wild during the night, slept crazy. And so, I could have hit my head on the headboard. I don't know, something like that. So that kind of opens the door to the first pillar that I want to talk about tonight, which is denial. Sometimes we can get in a place of denial, not realizing that we need a transformation, or we're in the midst of a transformation. Um, Again, welcome to everybody. Please share the live. Please share the live, because this is going to be life changing. This is going to be awesome tonight. We're going to have a good time. So I'm in denial about this knot on my head. Where did this knot come from? I don't remember hitting my head, bumping my head on the wall. Nothing fell on my head. But if you could imagine the cartoons, when something heavy hits the character on the head, they usually have the knot that just rises up. Mine didn't go that high, but it did kind of cause a knot that was obvious. So for a few weeks, whatever. At that time, I had hair. I had a head full of hair. So my thing was, it'll go down. Let me just grow a bush out until it go down. Everything is fine. It's good. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Still in denial. So a few weeks pass by, and this knot is not going anywhere. I'm putting compresses on it. I'm massaging. I'm running hot water on it. Nothing is happening. This thing is just ongoing. Just sitting there going, "Hello, how you doing? It's me. What's happening?" So anyway, finally, go to the doctor, and I'm just like, I don't know what this is. I don't know why this is on my head, but can you help me out? So finally, walking through the process of examination, things of that nature, we finally realized that it is feeling like something that is not supposed to be. So the doctor told me, he said he wanted me to do a biopsy. Now, family, you have to understand, I grew up where I never fell. I didn't have broken bones. I didn't have fractured this, sprained that. I just didn't experience that life growing up. I had one fall where I skinned my arm, but other than that, pretty easy going. So this is my first real procedure going on. I'm like, what? Biopsy? What's about to happen? Finally, we get in, and it's determined that this knot is actually of a format called dermafibrosarcoma. Dermafibrosarcoma, which basically means sarcoma of the scalp, or cancer on the scalp. So I'm just like, what? What? Hold on. Wait a minute. You got the wrong one. So finally, go ahead on and move around, walking through the process. And they tell me that I need to have surgery to remove it. It could possibly be an outpatient surgery, so not a big deal. Okay, fine, cool. Let's do it. We go through the surgery, and they want to test everything that they removed. Well, in testing what they removed, they realized there were even more cancer cells within my scalp, if you can imagine that. So I'm just like, bruh, what is happening? So they need to do a second surgery. We were now doing a second surgery to remove cancer cells from my scalp. I've never had surgery before, peeps. I never, ever experienced surgery. And now within a month, I'm in my second surgery. At the end of May, I have a surgery. Then they schedule another surgery for the end of June. Bro, we go from never having a surgery in 20 years, 20 some years, to 2 surgeries in 2 months. Imagine that, if you will. So at this point, the second pillar kind of comes into play, guys, because I'm doubting because they made it seem like I'm doubting this transformation process because they made it seem as if it was a very simple, easy process to go through. And now I'm experiencing that it's a lot more than what they expected. Imagine, if you will, I'm a believer. And the scripture says, in this life, we're going to have tribulation or we're going to have trouble. So I- I'm not that shocked. But the doubt comes in because you tell me one thing and now I'm enduring something else. If we're going to walk out a real transformation, you have to remember and you have to understand that not always will you have all the details while you're going through this process. If you're going to transform, please hear me. There are going to be some roadblocks. There are going to be detours. There are going to be distractions. If you're going to have your transformation, and I want you to transform, you want me to transform, we all want to transform into whatever God has created us to be. And we're in a process of ongoing. That's I think that's the key, guys. If we're gonna walk our transformation, we have to understand that sometimes your transformation is ongoing. Okay, it's not always immediate. Okay, so doubt hit. That's the humanistic side. If we're gonna be real, I hope we being real tonight. I hope we being real tonight, guys. If we're gonna be real, transformation is not always immediate. It's not always immediate. So now I go from having, as I continue with the testimony, I go from having a knot on my head to now close to 50% of my scalp has been removed. The first surgery, they closed it up with a skin graft. The second surgery, they left it open because they didn't even know if they had gotten it all. Okay? Imagine that. Your head is open and there's a dip. I'm trying to paint a picture for you. The transform in my head, it's like a mountain with a valley. That's pretty much the look that's going on. So I'm like, okay. At this point, that they're now scheduling a third surgery, um, I'm frustrated, but depression kind of shows up. When you're being transformed, things around you, circumstances, situations, atmosphere, things around you will make you feel as if you're not changing, that it's actually getting worse, that it's not going to get better, that there's no way out. This will happen. I don't want to detour you, but I want you to know the full story. Because sometimes people will paint the picture of transformation being this big thing of, oh, you're gonna come out on top, and that's true. That is true. The point that I'm saying is you have beginning, you have ending, and then you have the middle. And it's during the middle that all hell breaks loose, mentally, emotionally, physically, just all kind of craziness will take place. So depression happened. I went through depression. In fact, with this whole transformation, there have been a number of years that I've dealt with self-esteem issues and self-confidence was low at times because I'm used to a certain look, and now this has changed my makeup, the way I look. People are used to me you know, during that season of people pleasing and being concerned about what others say. I'm just being real tonight. If in the process of transformation, you have to change. When that change happens, you don't like it. At first, you don't like it. Mm, I don't know about this. Do I have to do this? No, I don't want to do this. You have to experience a change. And it's going to be like this, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and do I really want this? You have to take that moment and ask yourself, do you really want this change? Do you want transformation? And I want you to hold on to that. I know I'm saying the word transform and transformation over and over again, but I will go back and revisit the definition in a moment. So just hang on while we go through the testimony. So we finally get to reconstructive surgery, where now they're rebuilding my scalp and they're taking muscle from out of my body, and I go into greater detail. This is going to be in my next book, so I'll have even greater detail where you can really step by step see through what's transpiring. So we get to reconstructive surgery, and so we had this thing. I have a sidebar here. I go through swelling. Anybody that has had a surgical procedure know what's the swelling and how that whole process goes. So I'm going through the swelling aspect. And while I'm swelling, my head is swollen in certain parts. In New Orleans, I remember going to the parade, and I'm guessing you can see this anywhere, but we used to have these miniature plastic footballs about that big, that they would throw at the parade. And in my mind, because during that season of them cutting and reconstructing, I did not look at my head. I never looked in the mirror. I refused. Going back to what I said about the depression, in that transforming stages, you don't want to see it. It's bad enough you're going through it. You don't want to have to see what it looked like too, So I'm just like, but it felt like one of those footballs was sitting on the side of my head, and I'm just like, God, this ain't funny at all. It's one thing to be in and lots of pain, lots and lots and lots and lots of pain. I think about the caterpillar. When it goes through the stage of its metamorphosis and it's in the cocoon, we can't see that it's uncomfortable, but it's uncomfortable because it's wiggling. The space is smaller than what it actually needs. While it's developing, it's trying to make room because what's in it is bigger than its environment. I said that for somebody that's going to see this. When you're being transformed, be prepared to be uncomfortable because God is making you bigger than where you are. He's preparing you for something greater than what is. In other words, he's preparing you for the not yet in the midst of the right now. He's preparing you for the not yet in the midst of the right now. Woo! So it was really, really uncomfortable for me in that stage. But the one thing that happened right before the reconstructive surgery, I decided to tap in. I decided to dig deeper. I decided to dive in. And really, I missed this one part. I want to go back for a second. After the second surgery, and they did the results and called me in to tell me that they got a lot, they got cancer cells, but they weren't sure if they had gotten all of them. So because of that, they wanted to schedule a third surgery to cut, not reconstruct. So in other words, in their minds, it was supposed to be three surgeries of cutting to cutting on the scalp, cutting more scalp, cutting more scalp. But after hearing them, I said, you can go ahead and schedule, but you're not cutting on me again for the remove no more. I distinctly remember being in the doctor's office and said, oh no, this ain't gonna happen. Now, I guess that was my spirit coming back to life during the time of depression, because watch this. I leave the doctor's office and I shift, I change, I move in my mental, in my spirit, and I become disciplined that every day I'm going to read healing scriptures. In your transformation, it's going to call for a level of discipline that you've never had before. You're going to have to step out a comfort zone where you no longer can just do the same old, same old. You're going to have to take on a level of discipline that you've never done, studying, reading, exercising, mental work, emotional work, whatever it is. Your discipline has to go up. And so in the midst of doing my discipline, in fact, I think it was either the day before the surgery or 2 days before the surgery, something like that. I literally put the word of God down in front of me, and I had my Bible, and then I had my healing scriptures and affirmations, and then I had some articles of bread and wine. So I had the word, and then I had communion, Lord's Supper. And I began to pray, and I declared my healing, I declared my deliverance. And I want you to know that when I went in for surgery, even though it was scheduled for them to cut for a third time, it was actually that day that they told my mother. I remember in prep, so this little prep area, they said, well, Miss Williams, we got all the cancer, so we're not going to be cutting today. We'll be doing reconstructive surgery. They had prepped me and probably even had given me anesthesia. I'm not even sure. All I know is I remember sitting up off the bed. I promise you, I remember this like it was yesterday. I sat up off the bed and I said, I knew y'all had gotten all the cancer, because I wasn't gonna have y'all cutting on me a third time. And the people started laughing, but I was deadly serious. I was like, look, I spoke the word, I prayed the word. Yeah, it was gonna be different this time. So anyway, go through all that. But then again, after the reconstructive surgery, your mind is playing tricks on you. Well, maybe I still got cancer, or maybe there might be another, because the doctor said to me, we can't be sure if it's going to reoccur. And I'm just like, no, we're not doing that. Nobody, we're not doing that. So anyway, time goes on, and December, 6 months after the surgery, he says, we're going to release you. We don't see any reoccurrence happening, and life got better. Now, why did I say all of that? Why did I tell you my testimony? Because I wanted you to be encouraged that transformation does still exist. Okay, transformation does still exist. In fact, let me give you a definition. So when I go to the book, the New Testament of the Bible, there are several times that the word transform appears. Romans 12 and 2 is one example. And the Greek word there for transformed is metamorpho or metamorpho, which means to change into another form, to transform or to transfigure. Basically, it comes from two words: meta, meaning change, and morpho, to shape or to form. And the word metamorphosis is just derived from this word. So you have to prepare your mind. Every one of us need to prepare our minds. Listen, guys, listen. You know it's hard out here for a pimp. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I'm just kidding. You know, it's life gets life is interesting. And another thing I want to say, change is inevitable. So you cannot stop that. Whether you meet it head on or you choose to be forced into it, change has to happen. So listen at this. Listen at this. If you're going to have deliverance in any area of your life, there's got to be change. And transformation or metamorphosis, if you will, takes about a changing of design, of shape, of form. There must be a design, a reshaping, a reforming. It moves. It's larger. It's wider. It's uncomfortable. It's a lot of different components that go into your transformation. And if you're not willing, if you're not open, here's the thing that I think it's very important to point out. Each and every one of us was created for a purpose. Each and every one of us was created by God for a purpose. So therefore, once we're born, we're supposed to be, from birth until death, we're moving, we're supposed to be becoming, we're transforming into that which will create us or shape us or make us into our purpose, help us to complete our purpose. If we're choosing to be stubborn, bullheaded, disrespectful, been there. I'm trying not to come down your street. Ignorant, self-righteous, narcissistic, conceited. Whenever we take on these characteristics, it detours, but it doesn't destroy. I remember growing up, we used to hear the song, "You can run, but you can't hide." He sees it all, and you can go the long way, children of Israel, to the promise, or you can be obedient and go the short way. It's really up to you. It's really up to you. Whichever one you want, whichever one you choose, the Father is okay with that. But you get into purpose. You got to. You have to get to purpose because he created you and I for purpose. The second word, metamorphosis. This is the noun. This is really what got me. So the first word is the noun form. Then you have metamorphosis, the verb form used to describe the act. I'm sorry. The first verb form is the act of changing or transforming. But then you have the noun form of the word, which refers to the state or process of being transformed. So we are, once we submit ourselves, we become the state of the process. We're now being transformed. Every day I wake up and I submit myself, I have a little more of me being transformed. I'm coming. I'm like the caterpillar. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but I got to get up out of this cocoon, bro. Come on now. I know this thing should be breaking, but I know I shouldn't have to keep. It's been 2 years. Why am I still going through this? I don't understand. Or keep submitting. But Lord, it's been 5 years. You said I was going to be this, and you said I was going to. But keep going. Don't allow your frustration to stop you. Just keep straight. Okay, I got to get out this cocoon. But remember, you're in the state of being transformed. You are being transformed. You are being. It's not going to happen just to you. The caterpillar, the caterpillar does not do this one time and become a butterfly. No. There's a lot of work that has to take place for the wings to be strengthened, that when it comes out the cocoon, it's time, it's dedication, it's responsibility, it's focus, it's hard work, it's sacrifice. I'm gonna tell you this, and we'll go ahead and get off. I was talking to a sister of mine the other day in preparing for this live, and I just kept hearing transformers. Well, I've been here a while, guys. We'll go ahead and admit that I've been here a while. I've been on the earth a little while. And when I was growing up, there was a cartoon that came on television called Transformers. And it was these robots that could reshape their bodies from being, they would start off being like cars or trucks. And then when the robot would transform, it would literally become a fighting robot, a flying, whatever. So as I was thinking about what I was going to say for tonight, this came on my mind, Transformers. So I went and looked up the lyrics of Transformers. Listen at this. Something evil's watching over you, coming from the sky above, and there's nothing you can do. Prepare to strike. There'll be no place to run when you're caught within the grip of the evil Unicron. Transformers, this is the chorus, more than meets the eye. Transformers, robots in the sky, in disguise. The next verse says, strong enough to break the bravest heart, so we have to pull together. No, we can't stay worlds apart to stand divided. We will surely fall until our darkest hour, when the light will save us all. Bruh, when I tell you I've never paid attention, I've never paid attention to the song, the lyrics, the theme song of Transformers. But this right here, these words right here, strong enough to break the bravest heart. So we'll have to pull together. No, we can't stay worlds apart. To stand divided, we will surely fall until our darkest hour when the light will save us all. Check this out. It's Judgment Day. And now we've made our stand. And now the powers of darkness. This is a cartoon, y'all. I'm not making this up. It's Judgment Day, and now we've made our stand. And now the powers of darkness have been driven from our life. I'm reading this straight off the internet, guys. The battle's over, but the war has just begun. And this way it will remain till the day when all are one. Transformers, Transformers, more than meets the eye. Now, I'm not going to try to interpret that for you. I want you to get what you get out of it, because I was just like speechless. You are defeating, I will say this, you are defeating the mental and psychological and emotional forces when you commit to your transformation. Again, please be encouraged, please be inspired, and tell yourself it's not going to happen overnight. But this one thing I know, it's my transformation is coming. It's got to happen. It's going to happen. And you have to, here's a scripture for you. Here's a scripture, because you know I got Bible. I do have Bible. That's an inside joke. I do have Bible. He who has begun a good work in you shall perform it until the day of Jesus Christ, or he will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. So another scripture tells us weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I heard a pastor say this weekend, breaking down Romans 12 and 2. Well, Romans 12, 1 and 2. I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed unto this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your minds. He got four things out of that. Number one, there should be an upward dedication, an upward sacrifice given. Number two, there's got to be a backwards from conformation, conformation. You got to back away from conforming. Then there needs to be an inward transformation on the inside, whether it's your mind, whether it's your emotions, whether it's your heart. You've got to be dedicated and disciplined to say, I'm going somewhere. I'm not, I know it may seem like I'm stuck right now, but I'm headed somewhere. I'm on my way to my destiny. And that's what I want everybody to remember, that we have to embrace our transformation and then create our destiny, because the transformation sets us up to walk into destiny. So after you've had your inward transformation, there needs to be an outward demonstration, destiny, purpose, walk in it. Okay. Don't allow yourself to be stuck, no matter what it looks like. A lot of people don't tell the whole story. They don't tell you it's going to get rough. They don't tell you it's going to get hard. But don't allow yourself to get stuck there. Okay, transformation. You know how it is. I'm gonna give you this example. We say I'm going to lose 25 pounds. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to lose 25. Some transformations happen immediately. You know, the sisters go to the the hair salon, and 3 hours later they've been transformed. That I'm not going to talk about it because that's not my business. But I'm just saying there's usually a transformation that takes place 3, 4, 5 hours later at the hairstylist. Okay, but that's immediate, if you will. But when we say we're going to lose 20, 25 pounds, you know, I'm going to commit. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You don't wake up the next day after you say, I'm committing to transformation of my body. You do not wake up the next day and those 25 pounds just magically while you were sleeping just poof went away. It just no, no. So if you know in that process that it takes time, I submit to you all today to be committed, to be disciplined, to be open to the change, and get some relationships that will build you up while you're going through the transformation process, because relationships are extremely important. I have people around me that when I get slow, when I decide to take a break is what I call them, they they kick me and say keep going. Oh no, you're not about to give up now. You know, um, I believe that when I was in church in New Orleans, shout out to my spiritual dad, um, and an adopted father, uh, Bishop Lionel Catchings. I I stayed in trouble, guys. No, 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 no. I need y'all to understand. I was set down from my position more times than possibly I was on the position because I just stayed in trouble. Because what I realized years later, and I had another brother, it was like we were in competition to see who would be in trouble the most. But what I came to understand years later, after being sat down so many times and fired so many times, what I understood years later was he was trying to help me not get stuck in my mess and pull out the best in me so that I could move towards purpose. Now, today, I'm speaking and doing sermons and messages on different platforms with people of work status, of inspirational status, motivation status, whatever it is. People are all over the world get to hear my voice, but I could not have gotten to this state of being transformed if I was willing to become so belligerent that I was not going to listen. I was not going to take the lessons. I was not going to apply the lessons. I was not going to become disciplined. And I couldn't understand it then because I was young and dumb. You know how we are in our 20s. And I could not get it then, but now that I'm 40 something, I realize that relationship was taking me, walking with me through some things. So I say to you, please find you some, ask God to direct you to persons who can be a strength to you, not a hindrance to you. Because when you're going through, when you're trying to become, we're all created to become. when you're trying to become, when you're walking that process out, you don't need somebody to down you or just tell you, man, you ought to quit. You need to give up. That ain't gonna work. You don't need those type of people around you. You need somebody around you that will say, you know what? It's hard now, but dude, you're gonna look back on this moment and say, yeah, it was worth it all. Yeah, yeah. When you get the job, it was worth it all. When you lose the weight, yeah, 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 it was worth it all. When you write that book, yeah, it was worth it all. Yeah. When you get on those stages making those big bucks for speaking engagements, yeah, it was, I think it was worth it all. I think it was worth it. Yeah, it was definitely worth it. But make sure you give yourself some grace. Give yourself grace. You're not perfect. Your neighbor's not perfect. Your other neighbor's not perfect. In fact, you can tap yourself and say, you know what? I finally realized. I said this to myself some years ago. I said, you know what? You're not going to be perfect. And, of course, my crazy friends and family around me was like, Terrence, you just got that? You just got that revelation? I could have told you that the day you was born. It's neither here nor there. But I hope that something I've said to you today, whether it's talking about how to come through denial, how to get through doubt, how to manage depression. Listen, therapy is important. So we've talked about testimony. I've given you my testimony. We've dealt with transformation. Let me just end with this and say therapy helps. Therapy helps. People don't run from it. If you can find a way, there are some that are very minimal in price. Your insurance will pay the majority of the cost, and you just have a small copay. But let me tell you something, therapy unlocks. It unlocks. I am a believer. I am a believer in all things that the Father has said in his word. I believe it and I receive all my promises. But I also believe that he's created people with special gifts and talents to go alongside of his word and your belief to help you unlock pieces that you may not be able to unlock by yourself. So for the men, again, June is Men's Mental Health Month. Do your best to access a therapist. I speak prophetically to tell you your life will not be the same. Your life will not be the same. I promise you this. And finally, therapy will help you to understand childhood things that you went through that may have put you in a place of transition on your way to transformation. Reach around, or as they would say, reach around and grab hold to your testimony. There are some things you've come through. There's some things you've been through. Reach around, grab your testimony, and remember, allow yourself to go through the process of transformation, and then finally get some therapy like it's part of the combo. The therapy is the drink. Transformation is the fries, and the testimony is the burger. Yeah. That's what I said. Don't be making fun of me. Brittany, stop laughing. Stop laughing, Brittany. William, stop laughing, cuz. Yeah, that's what I said. The testimony is the burger. the transformation is the fries and the therapy is the drink. We out of here. I will be starting an online Bible study real soon. So be looking out for that. It will be a live Bible study. And also, there's another book coming. And also, we're going to start some e courses in some various areas because I want you and I to embrace our transformation. And I want you and I to walk in destiny on purpose. Y'all have a great evening.